The Giants signed Russell Wilson to a 1-year deal worth $10.5 million guaranteed and up to $21 million in incentives. And this move was a shocker when I saw the notification come across my phone. I mean, straight up, you were wondering if Russell Wilson was going to stick it out with the Steelers. I really thought that was the only thing that could have happened. I didn't see him going to the Vikings because, everyone's pretty solid that J.J. McCarthy is going to be on there. Yes, the Giants was an option. I did think he was going to stay with the Steelers, though. I really did. But now we see the Giants was the option. Apparently, the Giants were looking into him last year, weren't able to snag him before he did go and become a Pittsburgh Steeler. And now you've got Russell Wilson in his third year, third straight year with a third different team, going from 2 years in Denver to 1 year in Pittsburgh, now 1 year in New York. And you've got him on his fourth different team in 5th years. So this is a lot for Russell Wilson to embody as an NFL quarterback. But when you look at the Giants and how they were offensively last year, this makes so much sense for them. No, Russell Wilson's not that elite, game-changing MVP quarterback I believe that we saw 4 or 5 years ago in Seattle. I don't believe he's that anymore, especially with the offensive talent that you're going to have in New York, especially with, Brian Daboll as your coach, which I do think is a good coach. But the Giants were third worst in yards and second worst in points last season. I mean, they couldn't do anything. And when you talk about where they've been, at the quarterback position ever since Eli Manning left and, was no longer with the team in 2019, you've had Daniel Jones, a little bit of Colt McCoy, Mike Glennon, Jake Fromm, Davis Webb, Tommy DeVito, Tyrod Taylor, Drew Lock, with a bunch of Daniel Jones, of course, mixed in there as well, which Daniel Jones seems like they've been waiting forever to move on from him. And finally they did, is now Daniel Jones is a Colt. He was moved on from last season as Daniel Jones was a Viking. The Vikings picked up Daniel Jones in the middle of this season, if I'm not mistaken. And then now, obviously, he is an Indianapolis Colt. But this team needed just some sort of decent quarterback position. We heard about them possibly trading for Derek Carr. Obviously, that's not the case. Aaron Rodgers was possibly in play with the Giants. Clearly, that's not the case anymore. But this shows you, with Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll having their jobs on the line for the 2025 NFL season, that they would rather take a chance on a proven veteran quarterback in Russell Wilson than go for Aaron Rodgers, then try to get Shedeur Sanders at number 3, then try to get Cam Ward at number 3, maybe trading up to 2 or 1, which means a quarterback more than likely. Maybe this secures Travis Hunter at the number 3 position for the Giants. I'm not really sure. But they would have rather taken a chance on a veteran, proven quarterback in Russell Wilson than go and get Aaron Rodgers or take Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward in this draft, which I don't think that Shedeur or Cam would have been a bad fit or a bad pick for the New York Giants, but it shows you they want stability. They want someone who is a winner. They want someone who is a leader, someone who has seen a decades plus of what this league has to offer. And you just weren't going to get that with a rookie this year. It's just, it's not feasible. They're a rookie for a reason. Now, when you look at the Steelers and how they just had Russell Wilson, and they were 23rd in yards and 16th in points with Russell Wilson playing 11 games of quarterback this season. I believe that Justin Fields should have kept the job. But of course, we see Russell Wilson. He was a little injured coming into the year. Then he got healthy. Then, he was able to take the job from Justin Fields, which, again, I was not a fan of. But in only 11 games, he had 2,500 passing yards, 16 touchdowns, 5 picks, 64% completion, 96 passer rating. If he had played all 17 games and been healthy for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he would have had 3,800 yards, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and probably would have been a lot more comfortable in that Steelers offense. Maybe they would have retained him. I'm not sure. I think the Steelers are looking at a quarterback in this draft because right now you've got Mason Rudolph and who else is in the Steelers quarterback room? You got Mason Rudolph and you got Skylar Thompson. I was going to say Skylar Thompson, but for some reason that didn't feel right. I was thinking Duck Hodges, but we know Duck Hodges hasn't been there in some time as well. So, the Steelers are 100% going to be making a quarterback move in this NFL draft. Either that or they're bringing in Aaron Rodgers. It's one of the two, because I don't think you're rolling forward with Mason Rudolph and or Skylar Thompson as your quarterback room. Not when you have a DK Metcalf, a George Pickens. I hate that you just got rid of Najee Harris, but you've got some talent over there. In Pittsburgh, you've still got that defense. You just brought in Darius Slay. So you need to bring in a quarterback to complete that roster, or at least snuff it up as best as possible. Now, I think Russell Wilson will be a solid quarterback with the New York Giants. I don't think he'll look as good as he did with the Steelers, and I damn sure don't think he'll look as good as he did in his last season with Sean Payton. Y'all can say what y'all want. I think Russell Wilson and Sean Payton should have stayed together. Now, clearly, Sean Payton wanted to go to the draft, get Bo Nix. Russ was pushed out of there, but Sean Payton had Russell Wilson operating at a fairly high level compared to the season before. Now, no, it wasn't that MVP type Russ that we've come to know and love, that insane game changer Russell Wilson. But when you looked at the tape and you looked how they were playing in and out of games, I thought Russ did well, all things considered. Now, when you look at the Giants' perspective, you've got Tyrone Tracy, who's proven to be good. You've got Malik Neighbors, obviously. You have a defense that's got Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Paulson Adebo. You go and get Javon Holland in free agency, which you got Javon Holland, Paulson Adebo, and Dexter Lawrence. Or no. I'm thinking of DeMarcus Lawrence that just left the Cowboys, excuse me. You've still got Dexter Lawrence, who has been there for some time. Getting Paulson Adebo from the Saints, I think was very solid. I hated to see him go as a New Orleans Saint, but Paulson Adebo is a north and south guy. He can play well. He can have pass breakups and interceptions, but he can also be a penalty machine, and it felt like he was either a big play or pass interference for Paulson Adebo, but maybe he can get it right over in New York. You never really know. I think he can get it right. I really hope that he can get it right. No, I don't have Omarion Hampton. What's up, Ron? Appreciate you. Appreciate you jumping into the show. I don't have Omarion Hampton in my top running backs. Again, the tape just didn't really impress to me that much, man. I was looking at some of the strengths and weaknesses, and it just wasn't anything that I felt like warranted a top 5, even a top 6 running back position in this draft. Again, I've got Ashton Jeanty, Dylan Sampson, Quinshon Judkins, Travion Henderson, Cam Skattebo. Not in that exact order, just about in that order. I've got Devin Neal ahead of him. Now, Omarion Hampton, I would probably slightly put over Caleb Hunter, all things considered. Caleb Johnson, not Caleb Hunter. But yeah, I don't have Omarion Hampton, unfortunately, in my running back rankings. Most people have him at 2, or even some people put him at 1. I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. And that's the beauty of all of us being able to do this, having our own shows, having our own takes, is we all bring, different perspectives to the table. But getting back to the Giants here, the Giants have some players defensively that can be game changers and be difference makers for them. They've also got now offensively Russell Wilson, Tyrone Tracy, Malik Neighbors. Let's see what they've still got. Jalin Hyatt, who I feel like is still willing to break out in the NFL. We know we haven't seen a whole lot of him. Has 58 total career targets for 435 total yards. 59 total targets, 31 catches, 435 total yards, and no touchdown. So if Jalin Hyatt, who is an absolute burner, is able to really come out and make a difference as well, then I think that's somebody else that they can really count on also offensively. So I'm excited to see what Russell Wilson brings to the table. I think he will, all things considered, be a good upper level, good quarterback. I don't know if he'll get to elite just being in the Giants organization, being around those Giants players, understanding that he was previously in 3 better situations than he is now. And I could see the Giants coming out and winning, 7 to 8 games with Russell Wilson, possibly more, depending on what they do in the draft and how things play out as the season gets started. What games did you watch? He's incredible. The only running back to spin fall forward in the momentum. Would be curious exactly what games you watch and exactly what you saw in his game. I can't remember off the top of my head the games that I watch of Omarion Hampton, but here's the thing. I don't watch specific games to grade players. I just go back and look at their tape. And I don't exactly recall what teams were coming up on the tape and where he was playing. But in terms of his play style, I just wasn't sold on him being a top 5, top 6 running back. He's still a top 10 running back in this draft class. And when I say top 5, top 6, I mean running backs in this draft class. But I'll give you a couple of pointers of what I saw in his game. I thought his speed was great. I thought he had solid vision. I thought he was able to move outside of the tackles well. It seemed like he could have been a home run hitter. But again, I didn't favor his skill set over the other running backs that I had. And maybe I can even do more of a deep dive on why I don't have Omarion Hampton in the tops of my running back rankings. But I just don't, man. The tape wasn't that impressive to me. I thought Jainty had better attributes. I thought Dylan Sampson, even Cam Scattaboo had better attributes. And I don't mean to, if it feels like I'm going around your question, but I don't necessarily pay attention to the teams that he played, but rather just watching the tape for him as a play style and as a player to see how he performed in really all of his situations. So that's what I've got for you there on Omarion Hampton. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about Russell Wilson signing with the New York Giants. I think it was a decent signing overall. Clearly, the Giants needed him. They need a better answer at quarterback. He'll be able to deliver the ball to Malik Neighbors more effectively. Clearly, he's got Jameis Winston in the locker room, so that'll be some really nice energy, some good, pre-game, post-game speech at the presser. We know what Jameis Winston has brought to the table, not only at the quarterback position, but how he's kind of become viral at the podium and for his pregame speeches as well.
Hey, it's AJL here. Appreciate you sticking to the end of the video here on YouTube. You could have chose any other show, but you chose my video, and for that, I'm very grateful. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media. Hit the bell on the channel so you never miss a post. Check me out on all social media platforms. Right here, you'll find a chance to subscribe to the show, a related video, and a playlist. See you guys in the next one.